Yep. We are live on Destiny's YouTube channel. Welcome, welcome. We were just in Phoenix. If you guys haven't checked out the video yet, head over to Pangburn. Check out the Phoenix video featuring Mr. Beef. If that's intriguing, I'm not going to say any more. You just gotta see Mr. Beef to believe him. Yeah. Are you getting anything there, Stephen? Oh. Yep. Fantastic. I lost my. Oh, there we go. Check 1, 1, 2. Rain on the water, boat on the track. Steven's got some cool headphones on. His YouTube chat is always like, get this boomer off the stage. I am a boomer. I can't be any different. Lots of Q&A opportunities. Surely you guys don't just agree with Steven on everything, because that would be weird. Rock and roll. Yep, a little bit more. You lie in faith, for you are called plain Kate and Bonnie Kate, and sometimes Kate the curse, but Kate the prettiest Kate in Christendom. Kate of Kate Hall, my super dainty Kate, for dainty are all Kates, and therefore Kate, take this of me. Kate of my consolation. Yeah, rock and roll. At least we have. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to cheat this a little bit. Cheat it. Just turn it up a little. Yeah, we'll crank it a little more. Nice. Oh, I have emails from one debater. Stevens, too strong and powerful. He is the man, and Trump sucks. You already won the debate.
Nice. Okay, we just need to go on the switcher, and then we're good.
Yeah, I will jump on the switcher. He's stuck in some traffic. I think we're going to give people a few more minutes anyway. We're only 7:03, so.
Okay.
Yeah, we're still good. We're still humming.
Cool.
Don the Savior is out hunting a cable still right now, but.
I mean, I think this is probably fine. I think we're good.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Pretty good. Yeah, so we'll give our debaters a little bit of time. I know everyone's waiting. Everyone has a beverage? Everyone's chill? Sorry, we couldn't get a liquor license in time. We called so many companies and so we have to do this last minute event, and they're like, no. We're like, no, hear us out. Can you provide the alcohol outside the venue? One of them said, we actually can. We can set up like a portable bar as long as it's not on the property. And then people can walk in hammered, smashed, whatever. And then I was like, okay, that sounds like a workaround, but they were fully booked for obvious reasons. Yeah. Any more debaters walk in? We're stuck in traffic. Yay, we got another debater. Woo!
Okay, more quizzes. I'm just curious. Okay, so most of you guys here are from LA or the LA area. If you're within an hour drive here, raise your hand. Just check. The vast majority of people here. Yeah, okay. You don't need to clap for that. Okay. You guys jerk yourself off enough down here, all right? How many of you guys know, in your immediate family, so mom, dad, brother, sister, or maybe a really close friend who you feel is totally lost to the MAGA stuff? Do most of you guys have? Do you think it got worse after 2020, or do you think yeah? I'm kind of curious for you guys that argue, I guess with friends. I imagine if you watch me, you probably argue at least a little bit. What are some of the most common arguments that you hear from them where you wish that you could just have a silver bullet? I can't give it to you, so if you're asking for one, I'm just curious. We're God, this thing comes up over and over again. What's the thing you hear most often? What about Joe? Oh, Joe Biden. Okay. What about Kamala? Media corrupt. The Jews. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so I'm hearing the whataboutisms a lot. All right. Dems did it first. Yeah, okay. That was a thing I kind of... He's exaggerating. That's the thing I think we've been talking about on stream a lot, the idea that if they say the Dems have done a particular thing, then they have infinite justification to do basically whatever they want. It's a very annoying tactic. I find that they break out a lot, but...
That's kind of like if your little brother like flicks you on the face like that, you can just start beating the shit out of him. It's kind of that rule.
A little bit. Well, except he didn't even flick you. You just tell mom and daddy flicked you first, and then you throw it. It's basically where we're at right now.
You bite your own arm, you know that trick, and then, Mom, he bit me. I used to do that one. Anyways.
We find out he's an only child. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay, well, yeah, anyways.
Do you,
okay.
of the friends that you have that are like MAGA, for everybody that knows a MAGA person, do any of these people care about the Epstein stuff anymore? Or have they all kind of moved on? Or? Yes. Okay, we got one yes over there. Okay. All made up.
Does it make
what about for the people that, okay, for the people who know like the MAGA people, and this audience runs a bit younger, so it might be higher than normal, how many of them are thinking about the Jews a lot? Like, hands up, I'm curious. If you have friends that are kind of a little bit? Okay, wait, if you have your hands up, keep them up for a second. I'm just curious. Can you keep your hands up if they're very critical of like the Trump-Israel thing? Okay, so maybe not that many, kind of. Okay. I feel like that was one of the most painful things for Fuentes and them, was to watch Trump be literally the biggest Netanyahu Israel sucker I've ever seen, more than like Brianna Wu, who's like the biggest Israel champion of all time.
Nobody knows how to milk the Trump cow like Netanyahu.
True.
Handing him the we thought you deserved the Nobel Peace Prize.
Oh my God.
Here's the letter. Netanyahu's a genius for doing that.
He's not a genius.
Wow.
He's just manipulating an idiot. It's
Well,
there's not much ingenuity there.
Yeah, but I think a lot of people would say, like, you know, you should take the higher road with Trump and try to be like stern and be able.
Who says
but
that?
Isn't he?
I say that. I don't think anybody else says that. But the problem is if you're the one guy that's trying to take the high road and everyone else kind of like suckers out, then you're kind of left holding the bag, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Do any of your friends that talk? Well, I guess we'll have some debaters up. I don't want to give away the whole game, but have you guys, for the people with the MAGA friends, what do they say about like the crypto stuff, like Trump coin? Okay. True. Okay. Jeez. True. The Pelosi insider trading. That's a big one. Yeah. Do any of them watch Fox News, or do they watch no mainstream media? TikToks, Reels.
Joe Rogan only.
Joe Rogan only. Okay.
Mr. Peanut.
How many of you guys have heard of Adam 22 Studio and Podcast? Any fans in here for him? Let's go. Okay, clap. There we go. Okay, thank you. Good job. It's over here in the corner. Great guy, great guy.
One thing before we get started, I just want to invite you all to join the Pangburn Discord server. We have good faith, helpful debates and conversations happening all the time on our Discord server, and everyone's welcome. We have people from all around the world. We have Muslims, Jews, Christians, atheists, left wing, right wing people. It's a more mature experience than some other Discord servers. Not saying anything bad about Destiny's Discord server. I'm sure it's fantastic. Yeah, I invite you all over, and make sure you subscribe at Pangburn. Check out some of our recent debates. Check out the greatest vaccine debate of all time. You will laugh, you will cry. It's very... and then also check out our most recent God debate between Alex O'Connor and Dinesh D'Souza, because Alex O'Connor is quite the rock star. He's kind of our atheist champion right now at Pangburn, and Steven's our political champion right now. So
well, I'm an atheist too, right?
Yeah. Well...
Okay.
We got to get some God debates rolling then.
No, I'm good. Never mind.
Yeah, I know. He doesn't want to do the God debate thing, but cool. Well, I think we should get rocking and rolling. We've had some debaters roll in here, and I don't know exactly who is who just yet. Let me get my...
Well, he's looking at that. How many of you guys in here watch Adam Mockler? Okay. How many watch David Peckman? Okay, a lot of, okay, more over here than over there. Are there any, like, Vosh fans in here? Man, we're, okay. There's a couple of you, okay. Any Hassan watchers here? Not hate watchers, doesn't count.
One.
Okay, kind of, all right. A couple. Man, who else is there? Oh, what about Brian Tyler Cohen? Okay, there we go. Any of you that watch like video game stream stuff anymore, like pro gamers or video game anything? Or man, we're losers. We just do politics. Okay, a few. Okay, jeez, I became the man I never wanted to be.
All right. Well, if you're ready to rock,
Yeah, go. Throw me up.
Baron, are you here yet? Baron, you're debating today? No. Charlie? Charlie, you ready? Rock and roll. Okay, everyone, and please welcome to the stage, Charlie. Oh yeah. Keep the round of applause going. Keep it going. Keep it going for Charlie. Oh, the holy man himself.
Hey, what's up?
They had no paper towel in the restroom.
Oh, well, better fix that. How's it going? How you doing?
Good. How's everyone going?
Third.
Contra power.
Trump supporter in California, Southern California.
Well, so what happened is...
Can you pull the mic up? Make sure you're
Pull it
speaking
up.
right into it. Yeah. Okay.
Hello. So, well, I had an argument a few months ago, and that's when I got the ticket. And, okay, so I never did. I'm a musician. So
Wait, what do you
usually,
play for music?
Drums.
Okay. What kind of
Hey, now.
what genre?
Everything. I'm a drummer.
Okay, cool. All right. Okay. So a musician, drummer.
Yeah.
Kind of nervous. That's okay.
And so I kind of wanted to first kind of check in, like, from these debates, how's it going?
It's a very broad question. You want to?
How
I
do
can
you
answer
feel-
broadly.
How do you feel like the progress from what you're trying to achieve from them and from where you started and where you are now?
I feel pretty good about them. I think that when it comes to talking about debate and having debates, I think that there's a lot of different types of debates that you can have. I think there's a lot of different things that people are after, and I think you can have a lot of effects in like different areas and on different people in different ways. So it's very general, but for instance, like some people like to have the super TikTok clip farmy debates. Regardless of how I feel about them, they're effective. When people hear those snappy one-liners, everybody laughed when Ted Cruz said we need to stop bullying pedophiles, I think was his the misspeak, the epic misspeak that he had recently. But and then sometimes in front of the congressional hearings, you've got the people that hold the posters and try to get the clips right. That works. Long-form debates, I think, are cool if the people are really well informed. You can get really into subjects. Seeing people debate, I think, is good because there's like the idea of two people being able to still talk. There's something that happens there, some like common denominator that has to be created in order for the conversation to happen. Sometimes at like the very, very end of dead relationships, it's not when they're fighting, it's when they've totally stopped talking to each other that it's like completely hopeless. So I think as long as people are still arguing, it's good. More personally for me, I think just because of the size of my audience and the size of the audiences I reach, I can kind of do anything and still get positive feedback. So it's hard to figure out like what works. Like sometimes in really aggressive debates, I'll get people that email me and they'll say like, hey, like I'm glad that you're a voice out there that makes me feel sane. Sometimes when I'm nicer, I'll get people that email me and say, hey, I like that you didn't trash this dude and made me feel like you were willing to hear my point of view. So yeah, I mean, there's a little bit out there for everything. Yeah, it's kind of broad, but
Okay, well, so I had the greatest argument on earth.
okay.
And I was excited for it. I bought the ticket. A week before this event, they send me an email with a bunch of rules.
Okay.
And to me, it made no sense because I had a way of how I could prove the earth is flat. I had it. No, I'm not even joking.
Go ahead. Well, how do you prove the earth is flat? Why not?
Well, this was what was wrong, is that it's round like a plate. And when you walk across, you flip over.
Okay.
But then I get an email, no bad faith arguments, and I was like, what is that? I don't even know what that means. And like I can put the words together, but I didn't know the actual definition. And I was like, this is ridiculous, because the only way you can have a Trump argument and debate is in bad faith. So the fact that you're putting those rules on me, because my only point of evidence was I was going to Catalina Island, and the boat, I knocked my head, woke up 30 minutes later in Shanghai, China. But obviously that's not true, but that's how you have to debate like them. Or you heard someone and that happened to. And so it kind of feels like clipping my wings. And, like think about when athletes were doing steroids. You can be honest and not do steroids, but everyone else is, so you just look like a little bitch.
I'm assuming you're making a broader point that it's hard to have like good faith conversations because everybody else kind of is not after that, or are we really just talking about using steroids for sports?
Well, I'm using that as an
Sure.
analogy, but what I'm kind of getting at is that you can't debate Trumpers or Republicans and actually expect to influence their mind, because they're either really dumb or they're doing it in bad faith. And what you got to do if you're trying to like really reach them is first earn, in a sense, like the friendship and the general shared like humanity experience, like we still get along. And then when you're comfortable with them, you earn their trust. Then you're like start being like, oh, you know what? This is what I believe in. It's a whole art to like talking with dumb people. Well, not even dumb, but like I'm dumb, you know? It's like I'm a drummer. Fuck yeah.
I mean, like, I think so.
And I know that, so I know who to listen to. I know when people kind of, like, what I like about you is you read the primary source. And so it's like, okay, I'm not doing that, but I can trust someone to do it. But a lot of people don't realize that. So you're not going to actually really reach them with this. You have to act in a little bit of bad faith. And I got a couple of examples from when I see you debating like those college students.
Sure. Can I just address what you said before? I think I probably agree. The best way to change somebody's mind is to literally be like one of their closest friends, and then over time you have conversations, and like any friend group is going to pick up slang and vernacular, or they'll pick up ideas or memes, or they'll pick up eventually political beliefs or ideologies. Like that definitely happens. I think that there are different ways that things can plug in at different stages, though, even if you're not directly related to that process. So like if you have a friend and it's somebody that you talk to and you kind of argue with over time who's a close friend, it's nice to know the arguments. So sometimes like watching, whether you go to school or watch a debater or watch a YouTube documentary or whatever, like having the information in your head, I think can kind of help you along that process as well, even if the debater guy himself isn't the one who's actually moving the person, you know?
Yeah, I see that. And I guess what I was kind of coming at when I thought it'd be worthwhile getting some FaceTime was to show you, like, really demonstrate when you're on the street, when you're traveling the country, like the real kind of things you have to deal with. And in the process of that, at this time, it doesn't seem to be working. And for example, like when I saw the college students, there might be some places like I can understand the love of a sport and seeing debating as just like, some verbal or like mental sparring. So I get that. But what I'm saying is like people get hung up on trans, and it is something kind of big that you can't ignore. Like logically, I agree with you that there's so many problems out there. I mind my own business, you mind yours. Like I kind of get that, but I have a housemate that he refuses to mess with a lady unless he knew her since they were children or she's a mother. Otherwise, she's a man.
Otherwise, she what?
She's a man.
Okay.
According to him. That's how.
Oh, this is like a trans thing.
Yeah, this is how prevalent it is in people's minds. I'm not saying, and so what I'm getting at is when you try to like brush it over, like how many, it doesn't really have that effect. Where you kind of got to just make it American. If you're trying to talk to and reach these dumb people, you got to kind of make it American and sexy. Where you got to go in with that, like, you know what? As long as you don't hurt nobody, I don't mind. You do what you need to do. I'll do what I need to do. We're all coexisting. And then a little gospel. Be like, and who am I to cast the first stone? Where if I don't know what it's like to want pussy so much that you lop off your own wiener just so you got your own cunt. And that way, if you're in like LA traffic, you got something. Wait. And
yeah, I mean, like I understand what you're talking about in terms of types of arguments and things that can work, but I guess what I would say is that like no single vote determines the outcome of an election, generally speaking. But if everybody has that mindset, then you lose like kind of the power of your vote. I think that like one debate or one argument or one YouTube video or one discussion with a friend or one real life experience of a person generally isn't enough to totally change somebody's point of view. But I think it kind of takes everybody working together to make that happen. I think Republicans have done really good at this. Like they've done so, it's intentional. They've done so much like double speak and double play to where they'll simultaneously make it sound like things are hopeless. I make this joke a lot. Like I think it's 70 to 80% of conservatives still believe that the 2020 election was rigged, but that didn't discourage any of them from voting in 2024. There's something amazing that's happening there where these people believe that Democrats are widespread rigging elections, but they still go out and vote. Or that they think that the Biden crime family is the most criminal family ever, but when Biden gets criminal immunity due to a Trump case, not a single conservative really cares about it. They're not really afraid of it. So I think that Republicans have been playing this game for a long time, where a whole bunch of them from top to bottom, from talk radio to mainstream media to alternative media to leaking into the comedian world to the Gamergate world, world and everything else, they've been like playing this like 700 front war constantly. And especially after the last election, I think liberals like super woke up. They kind of did in 2016. We all owe that screaming girl an apology. Okay, she had no idea how right she was. And then even in 2020, when we won, it really wasn't as much as it should have been, honestly, against a guy like that, especially after everything. And then in 2024, it was like, Jesus, something is like super broken. And I think too often, we want to look for a simple solution to any problem. We want to look for like one thing we can do. But the reality is that conservatives are so far ahead in so many different ways, and they've been like fighting this war on so many different fronts, that for us to catch up, I think we also kind of have to start pushing back on a lot of different fronts. And, like having a friend and convincing him is good, but like all the other stuff I think is probably good and necessary as well. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I'm not saying it's not necessary, but I'm saying to actually do some like serious damage for like unfucking America.
Mm-hmm.
And like another thing is Christianity. That's another one that gets hung up on. Like they're not really Christian. What they're doing doesn't follow the gospel. And so, but you still got to say, oh, I'm a Christian. It's because it's operating in bad faith. So it's okay, I think, to operate in bad faith back and be like, yeah, I'm a Christian too, like, because I do believe in the gospel. But then you kind of have to like fuck with their mind a bit and go do like, oh man, yeah, my favorite verse, da-da-da-da-da. What is it, like John 35:11? I believe the shortest verse in all of biblical history, where it's only 2 words, Jesus wept. And from that kind of shows, like, it's less is more, speaks such volumes of meaning, where, Jesus is on the same plane as us with that emotional distress and that heaviness of existence. And it's also thought-provoking, because if Jesus wept, did he come too?
All right.
Final thought, I guess. Like, I mean, I don't disagree with what you're saying. The only thing I would change slightly is like, you don't have to frame it necessarily as cynically, I think, right? Like, it doesn't have to be like this super subversive bad faith process. You could also just like be a good Christian and like talk to your other Christian friends and kind of like move them in a better direction as well, Like one thing that I bring up a lot when I hear religious people talk about religion when it comes to politics is religion is always kind of used as this exciting weapon that they can wield to further whatever their personal beliefs or desires are. And I never hear it used in kind of like a restraining way, where it's like I use the illegal immigrant example, for somebody to say, man, there's a lot of illegals here, it's a burden on the system, but, what do they say in the Bible? We have to take care of our fellow neighbor. You never hear anybody use their religion in like a restraining way. It's always used to like galvanize support in some aggressive manner. So I agree generally with what you're saying. I don't think it has to have like the super, covert ops, malevolent, secret tinge to it. But I do agree, yeah.
I'm saying then you might as well like change the name of the tours and the protests to, like No Kings and Unfuck America. What you're really saying, because as a debate, it's more of a sport and not going to really undermine it all, but just say like, fuck Trump, because that's what it's saying. Because if you really wanted to unfuck America, there's only one way. There's only one way possible you can do it.
Pull your dick out of it? I don't know what.
Nah.
What's that where we're going with this?
That's how you change the name. But the only way, if you really wanted to do it, is honestly you would have to run me for president with one campaign promise. And this is using my Supreme Court appointed executive ability and power as president to force Joe Biden, like a dog, behind the Resolute desk and govern the nation. And if anybody has a problem with it, they can talk to me. And meanwhile, me and Vice President Hunter Biden, all we're doing is smoking crack rock and fucking some...
All right. Let's put our hands together for Charlie. Thank you for coming up here, Charlie. Great run. He had a great run. We gotta agree. And he looks fly tonight. He looks fly. Do we have by the way, the Pangburn dialectical rules, all these rules he was talking about. So by good faith, I simply mean sincerity of intentions. If you Google good faith, it's going to talk about sincerity of intentions. So you got to have sincere intentions to have a good conversation on the Pangburn stage. Jordan Peterson, Dinesh D'Souza, all these guys have to agree to this. And then you also have to agree to be helpful. And then in the dialectical sense, being helpful in the debate sense would be if you're interlocutor's struggling a little bit to deliver the strongest form of their argument, you help them to do that. You reach out and help them do that, so you know you're contending with the strongest form of their argument, not only by their standards, but by your standards as well. So those are the Penguin dialectical rules: good faith and helpfulness. Christian Fan, are you in the house now? Yes, come on up. Put it together for Christian Fan. He's looking nice. He's got his army green jacket on. Go ahead, shake the hand of destiny.
Oh, hello? Okay.
Also, in case you were wondering in that last debate, that guy was the average drummer for a band. So it's about what they're all. I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
Yeah, but I'll say, I've been following your career since like 2010, so it's kind of insane to talk to you in person. So
Cool. 2010.
yes.
Like Ustream, live stream.
Yes.
Okay, geez.
StarCraft
All
2,
right.
yes. All
Nice and close to the mic.
Oh, yeah, close to the
thank you.
microphone.
Right
Okay.
on
Yeah.
that thing.
Okay.
yeah, so I've been watching since like Ustream the days, and then you transitioned to Justin TV, then Twitch, and then you got screwed by that owned company.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Well, what's up? What do you hear?
Okay, so I just want to talk about Trump's versus Biden's trade policy versus China. So I think that overall, I think I understand why Trump is trying to do tariffs and all these crazy economic policies. I think it's mostly to bring back manufacturing from the world and to change everything and to, I guess, cripple China in a way. So I don't think that is necessarily a wrong decision from Trump, but I don't think it's like it's not a wrong idea to bring back those things, but it's also not a economically wise idea at the same time.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is how I would approach this. Okay. So let's zoom out first. Okay.
Yeah.
If I wanted to fight with China, I feel like the first thing I would do is I would shore up my economic alliances with my most important trading partners. So
Yes.
in our case, it would be Canada and Mexico.
Mhm.
Would you agree with that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like Trump has been a disaster as far as that goes, right?
Yeah, but Biden has as well too. So.
In what comparable way?
So there's things so I work in semiconductors, so I'm an engineer in that field. So one thing Biden did that was absolutely crazy was banning the AI chips export to China. What that did was it essentially incentivized the private and public industry to work together to make their own alternatives and their own supply chain. So now we have a bunch of $1 billion of China public government invested making these chips, making their own supply, and then getting separate from the U.S. And then Biden pretty much gave them an incentive to actually do that. So
If we tariff all of China, how does that not give them an incentive to literally just do that with every single thing, though?
I mean, I don't agree with the tariffs in general, but
I'm just saying, if I was to compare one policy for the other, it feels like that would be that on crack. Like what Trump is doing with tariffing every single thing would just make it so China could do every single thing, right? Like they would just onshore all their manufacturing, whatever that means.
Yeah, but I think I don't know if you heard, but recently Trump he's kind of loosening those export restrictions.
They're loosening and tightening all the time. It's hard to know where they're actually at, right?
But I feel like Trump is he's more willing to do more business friendly. He's more willing to not in tariff way, but more willing to do business with China in a way, because he's making sure that we can sell chips to China, which is good for my industry, what I work in. And he's making sure that China is more dependent on our silicon too.
Well, so then are we trying to compete with China or are we trying to work with China? Because I don't know now. I feel like
both. You can do both.
if we're selling them all the stuff that they need to continue to grow their own, manufacturing and high level tech stuff, how is that hurting them?
It's
if it was hurting them so much, wouldn't they just put an import restriction on it?
Well, that's so there's things called the private companies in China, the Alibabas. Are you aware of them? Like the Tencents? And
I'm unfortunately aware of Tencent. Yeah, 'cause I play a lot of League. But yeah, large companies usually have, I think, some state, partly SEO, partly Chinese involvement with some of these, right?
Yeah, but most of them they don't want to do they didn't originally want to do their own investments into their own chips because it's a very high intensive research and development cost, right? You can't just I'm gonna make my own AI chips. That's very expensive to do, right? You have to hire everyone to do all that CapEx spending. So they were okay with buying American chips. And for a lot of big companies in China, like they just buy American chips because it's just more convenient for them to do. But now with Biden doing the export policy, he's basically giving them like, okay, this is something the U.S. can do, and they're willing to do, and they're willing to go beyond like regular trading policies. And now China and no Chinese companies can depend on U.S. silicon.
I guess the thing that I'm not understanding from this position is whether or not you want to work with China and sell them chips or not sell them chips. It feels like the Trump position you like because we're being more adversarial towards China. But now you're saying that you didn't like Biden's position because he was adversarial in this way, but you think by being adversarial in this way, it's actually more helpful to them.
It's different because what Biden did was he banned the entire trade of the H100 chips from NVIDIA.
Sure.
But what Trump is doing, he's saying, okay, you can sell to China, but we get a cut of that revenue, which is a good idea because now we can use the revenue to reinvest into America infrastructure. So it's not a bad idea.
I mean, I don't know if the revenue cut that we're getting there is necessarily worth it. There's like a top-down world where I can see this happening, but the issue that I have is that I don't see. So like I said before, the first thing I would say is you shore up like economic alliances. The second thing would be that you isolate China in strategic ways, and then the third way would be that you make investments in industries, or you help your friends make investment in industries that would also be like threatening towards whatever it is you want to try to inhibit China from doing. I feel like Trump doesn't have any kind of like top-down cohesive view of anything. So even when he like might make accidentally the right move, it's hard to even give him credit for it because it's not part of a more comprehensive plan. It might be rolled back like immediately. Like I feel like do you genuinely feel like in 1 to 2 years that America is going to be better positioned against China because of what Trump has done compared to what Kamala or even Biden 2.0 would have done?
So it's hard to say because like there's no one answer for economics. Like things were like it's not like, oh, we did this, it did that, blah blah blah. Like right, it's not going to be a linear path. But what Biden did was more insane because I don't think it's ever happened in like history of trade with China where you're banning a company from doing like a trade, and like that's something this is a very important like product they're selling to them. And now you made all the Chinese companies, you made the government realize they cannot depend on U.S. anymore for anything. Like so they have to do it even though their chips right now are inferior. They have to do it no matter what.
Yeah, but I'm sure they were probably working towards that anyway, right?
They were, but it was not as intense before the Biden.
Yeah, but I mean, if it's an inevitability, like, why not accelerate the time? Like, if we're assuming that this is like the way to go, like, shouldn't America just be investing in their own chips and continuing on that road?
It would be nice to do that, but at the same time, a lot of these semiconductor companies in America, a lot of the revenues come from China. So have you aware of a company called Qualcomm?
Qualcomm? Oh yeah, they make Snapdragon chips and everything, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So something like 60-70% of the revenue is from China. So if you're saying no trade with China, you're basically bankrupting that company. So
yeah, but I mean, but like this is like the problem though, right? Is the idea that somehow America has to stand alone and be this like monster for manufacturing and everything else, but then also we want to go to war with every single country on the planet. Yeah, and like you talk about like how painful it might be to cut off access to China. How painful is it for all of our exporters that are facing tariffs around the world now as a result of Trump tariffing everything else? Right?
I don't agree with tariffs. I think tariffs are bad in general.
Sure. Well, it's the cornerstone of Trump's economic policy, so it's hard to be critical of those and supportive of his policy in general, right?
I'm trying to say, like, I don't support every 100% of all Trump's policies. I think most of them are not based on reality. I think I'm more.
So you mentioned from a business perspective. Okay, so what do you, in my opinion, there's one word I'm thinking of, like the most important thing that you can have as a business is more important than anything else. What would you think? What would you guess I'm thinking?
Free trade.
No, well, that's 2 words. But no, actually, not even free trade. It's stability, right? I want to know if I invest in something, is it going to be there in 5 years? I want to know if there's going to be like a reliable way to calculate my revenue, my future markets, whatever else. Like it has to be reliable. Otherwise, you get these huge tail projections where you don't know if a country's going to expropriate all your stuff, if there's going to be a violent revolution, if a country's going to make something that you do illegal. Like that could all be horrible. So I feel like when people say that Trump is like good for business, I feel like Trump has created one of the most uncertain like financial atmospheres in any of my lifetime, maybe in the past 100 years of U.S. history, because who's to say what the tariff is going to be tomorrow? Who's to say, since none of this is being passed through legislation, who's to say it'll even survive the court orders? Who's to say the next president won't just rescind all of it? Who's to say that a deal won't be struck with some country because they say they're trying to strike deals with countries? Well, if I'm going to set up a manufacturing fab in the United States and the only way it's going to be competitive is with a 50% tariff with all my manufacturer competitors overseas, but I know that Trump is also trying to negotiate deals with those people. Why would I even bother investing, right? I don't know how that's going to look. So I feel like it's horrible when it comes to stability, which is like one of the most important things.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with you. I actually.
Well, how the fuck can you like his economic policy then?
No, I never said I liked all of it. I like parts of it. Like I think.
How does that even make sense though?
I know, because I think what like.
If I gave you like a steak wrapped in diarrhea shit, and you had to eat the whole thing, would you say I liked a little bit of it?
I mean, it's yes or no, so yes.
No, you wouldn't, right? I don't understand this. Because you gave me one. Did you hate all of Biden's economic policy, or did you just not like that one restriction that he put on chips?
I think the whole America is like going like ever since like 2016, like the whole like America been brainwashed to be like China hawks. It's like really stupid in general because you want to do more business around the world. You want to make more money. You want to.
I actually agree with that. I would be slightly critical of Biden for kind of carrying that on, but like that was because of Trump.
Yeah,
Trump is like the #1 China hawk. Like this guy's talking about war with China and future conflict with China all the time.
Yeah, but he didn't go as far to ban AI chips. I mean,
there might have been one thing he chose, but like he's done like every other possible thing he can to like we just had this huge thing with the soybean farmer stuff with Venezuela and China or Argentina. Sorry, my bad.
I mean that's why like this is the only thing I would disagree with Biden. Like I don't think like you know how like he did like the solar panel tariffs and the EV tariffs, so like
sure.
100%. Like how does that help America at the end of the day?
I mean, I don't disagree, but these are like free trade positions, and Donald Trump is like the biggest hater of free trade in the universe. So I just don't understand. At the end of the day, right? Like, so if I ask you, like, who do you think is better on trade? We'll just say on trade, and then economics in general, like Trump versus Biden. Like, why do you favor Trump still, or?
I mean, some aspect. I like because I don't know who's it's like who's the crazier person. Like, is it Trump or Biden on China hawk policy? Because like. Every time someone escalates, someone else has to escalate higher and higher and higher until they're like the biggest China hawk at the end of the day.
Yeah, but who do you think was driving anti-Chinese sentiment more? The guy who was apparently too tired and sleepy to even run his office, or the guy who called it the Kung Flu?
I don't think the words like rhetoric. I mean, like the policy-wise, it's more. I think Trump started. Yes, I agree with that, but. Biden, he didn't stop. He's like, oh, I'm doubling down.
Well, on some things he did. I think it's hard once you've taken a combative posture, though, to kind of like levying a tariff, as I just say it, but like you have to engage in some kind of like trade agreement to start to bring these down collectively, because you don't want to be the one to bring it down alone. So I feel like I do disagree with Biden continuing, and I think even adding to a couple of the tariffs. I think it had to do with like electric vehicles, and I think it might have been solar panels or something. But like all of this, I see is like driven hardcore by MAGA and Trump. And then it's always like a weird thing to me when somebody will point out like one issue with Biden's policy, and then when it comes to trade or economics, then I'll ask about Trump, and it's like, yeah, that was bad, yeah, that was horrible, yeah, that was crazy, yeah, that was the worst thing ever. But like, I still think it's like, overall, like, what are we looking at? That, like, what's the saving grace here, I guess?
So, I mean, both. Well, I would say both Biden and Trump will contribute to the economic downfall of the U.S.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like, I think scratching your, hand over and over again and like increases the risk of staph infection. But there's so many other ways you can kill yourself. I don't want to make these jokes right now. Sorry, bad joke. Yeah. There are a lot of things that can be bad, but there's like significantly different magnitudes of badness between the two, right?
Yeah. I mean. Okay, yeah. I mean, overall,
like, do you think most of the world was happier or more upset trading with America or seeing America as a trading partner with Biden or with Trump? How do you even have to think about this?
Pre-2016, it was because Biden was the vice president, right? So it was better pre-2016, yeah.
Well, but 2016 to 2020 versus 2021 to 2025 or 4.
Because we're saying like, okay, like the world now, because like the world, China is like a huge GDP. I mean, like they were not happy with those tariffs and policies, so it's hard to say.
With what tariffs?
EV tariffs and solar tariffs.
They probably weren't happy with the 145% tariffs that Trump put on their entire market as well, no?
Yeah, but they weren't happy, but like I think Trump is basically using that like as like a negotiating tactic. Like I know a lot of those.
Which crypto bro podcaster do you watch? I need to know which one it is. The Sachs one, or which? It's one of these guys. I know it's one of these guys.
Wait, who?
There's all these crypto bro finance podcaster guys who are all huge Trump fans.
Oh, I don't watch it. I don't do that.
Okay,
yeah.
I can't understand this. Help me understand this. When I look at Trump, I see everybody around the world hates the United States in terms of unreliability for trade.
Yeah.
He lied. You acknowledge he lied when he held up, like, this is what the tariffs are from other countries to us, right?
Yeah.
That was just a lie. So when he calls our tariffs reciprocal, that's also a lie.
Yeah.
And then we have, I think it's still 0 actual trade agreements with any other country. We said we'd have 100 and 100 days. So that was, I said, I won't have to call it a lie. I guess we'll call it unfulfilled.
I mean, you're asking me to, like, I can defend all Trump's.
I'm not asking you to defend all of it. I'm asking you to defend any of it. And I mean, but then for Biden, it's like, well, he doubled some tariffs that maybe we shouldn't have doubled that were already like on the way under Trump. But that's like ignoring all the rest of everything else too. I just don't understand how we can hate Biden for this one policy and forgive Trump for every other misstep and disastrous
I mean, like,
adventure we've been on. Yeah.
I guess like the goal of this conversation is like to understand like where because you can't agree with every politician and everything, right? That's impossible at the end of the day, right?
I agree with you, but like I'm looking for anything to salvage my Trump policy here. Like what?
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like Trump is better on these anti-restriction, like right now, because like when Biden did,
you don't even like there were like a few months ago you wouldn't even have been able to safely say that because the tariff rates were changing like every few hours. Like some news that was like live to tape, like that they would report a tariff that had already changed.
Yeah.
And then like this is now, right? So far we're only at war with Venezuela and I guess our own population and Chicago and Portland and everything. But like who's to say, what's going to happen with Taiwan and China in 6 to 12 months if Trump has eliminated all of his domestic enemies? Like it's just like it's so much instability, it's so much lack of vision. Like I look at Besant, like a well-meaning father who's trying to explain why his son is a serial killer, but he's actually a good kid. Like every time he's on media trying to explain Trump's insanity to the news. Howard Lutnick is just fucking insane. Like I don't know what this guy where he even came from. Like,
I mean, like yeah, they're all insane. but
all right, you get the last words
ahead,
there, Christian.
Okay. So I mean, I guess that's that's one of my things I hate about Biden's policy and from the Democrats in general. But overall, I don't agree with anything about Trump. And the last thing I want to say is we should save StarCraft 2. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, put the hands together for Christian Fan. He was great. The Army jacket did it today. All right, it would not be an anti-Trump debate tour if we didn't bring someone up who's literally wearing Trump merch. The shirt says Trump, what does it say? Trump was right about everything. Welcome Brandon to the stage. It's Brandon. Da 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 da. Oh yeah.
All right, I'm short.
You're
You guys
good.
are
You're
tall.
good.
Okay.
Microphone right up to your mouth if you can. Yeah.
Do I say a statement or you ask?
Whatever you want to do. I think Trump's wrong about basically everything, so we got a lot to talk about if you want, in terms of ground to cover.
The far left is nothing more than a coalition of fragmented groups standing on a platform of pure hypocrisy.
Okay.
That's my belief.
Can I ask, when you say the far left, who are we talking about
These
here?
people right here in this room.
Okay. Okay, so help me sort this one out, okay? Because this is my common rebuttal, okay? So when I ask people, like, who are the far left, okay? I get an answer like this, okay?
Right.
But then when they ask me and I talk about the far right, I would say the same about, like, Congress. So, like, I feel like as much as I love my fans and you guys are powerful, I don't know the capacity for changing the character of the United States or California or even LA. But for Republicans, I feel like they're changing the character of the entire country at an accelerated rate in a way that I really don't like. How can I make these two things equally threatening? Like, make me care about, crazy college kids that are far left.
Well, the youth are the future, right? That's what we've been taught since we were born. The children are the future. So the reason why the far left leaning college kids are an issue is because these are the people who old people like me will hand this country over to. And we're in a time where, it's an unprecedented access to new information, right? So you pretty much can go out and find something that supports what you want to believe within 2 or 3 seconds or minutes. It wasn't like that in the 60s. It wasn't like that in the 70s or the 80s. People had to actually go search for, they had to go do research. You had to go to a library, open a book, and when you're searching to find what you want to believe, like support for what you want to believe, oftentimes you'll find things that go against what you believe, but they make a lot of sense, right? Research is necessary. Now you put on TikTok, you got 100 people, an echo chamber saying exactly what you're thinking, and you really don't have a need to do any type of research, and that's the age we're in.
Sure, so I don't necessarily disagree with some of that. I mean, I would say that every age brings with it like access to information in ways that we didn't have before, right? And, the printing press and radio and then TV. I think was Vietnam the one that they called the TV war, or whatever, the first where you had people that had like video footage of soldiers coming back wounded and stuff, and you had a lot of college kids protesting that. For Iraq, that might have been the first time we had like embedded units where we were getting like reports like on the ground and video footage and everything, and now we're seeing 4K drone high def footage of people blowing each other up in Ukraine, Russia, Gaza, Israel. I do agree the information is increasing. The one thing I guess I don't like or that I'm confused about when it comes to college stuff, when I look at like kids who are 18 to 22, aren't you supposed to be like kind of stupid? Isn't that like the time of your life to be crazy? Because if I talk to some like 20-year-old kid and I was like, tell me about your political outlook, and he's like, well, I'm a strong supporter of institutions and fiscal responsibility. I'm like, God damn, this is the most boring fucking household ever. Right? Like, aren't they always like crazy? Isn't that normal?
Well, Kamala Harris said the same thing about college kids being stupid, and look what happened to her. She didn't get elected, right? College kids are not stupid. They're in school for a reason. You know who's stupid? People sitting out on drugs, doing crime. They're stupid. College kids are in an age of where they're learning, and they're trying to grow into people who can like facilitate the continued prosperity of this country. Mm-hmm. The problem is we're not giving them a chance to learn through experience what older people like their parents already know.
What do you think is, so I do agree that college kids for demographic reasons, and like if you're going to college, you're probably a little bit more intelligent. You go there to get more intelligent. Like I agree with that. Have you ever played like board games or whatever?
Have I ever played board games?
Well, there's sometimes people are making like role-playing games. They've got like intelligence and you got like wisdom. Right. Some people might call like street smarts or book smarts or whatever. However people are life experience, common sense versus knowing things. Like college kids can be smart, but oh my God, they can also be fucking stupid, right? Like you'll see like a guy who's 22, graduating college, maybe 21 early, like drunk driving or making the dumbest decision ever for the first time, crashes his car, gets his girlfriend pregnant, whatever stuff. Because like, man, their kids are dumb, they make dumb mistakes, they do that, it'll happen. There's no way, like part of the learning experience is making those mistakes and being crazy and being cringe, isn't it?
Yeah. So, I mean, Mark Zuckerberg's not stupid. He was that age at one point, and he created $1 billion company. The more access you have to information, the less ignorant you are of what's going on. I could see the college kid, like Ferris Bueller's Day Off or something, like back in those days, you kind of were expected to be a little bit dumb and gullible. But now people have information, they have answers to things at the touch of a button. I don't think they're as ignorant or as stupid as we would like them to be.
But I mean, like,
I think the Democrats banked on that, and it like blew up in their face. And I think that's one of the hypocritical aspects of the far left, is that they expect everyone to be so dumb that they don't actually think, about the issues that they're expected to go vote on. And they just take somebody like Maxine Waters' word for it, somebody like Kamala Harris. Like, I don't think Kamala Harris is smarter than the average 21-year-old college student, honestly. I think they can string a sentence together. She can't.
Kamala Harris, if she can't string a sentence together, I have no idea how much you're paying for Trump translations, because there's no way you can understand anything that guy's saying. But like, okay, but let me just back up one more time to this, and then we can move on to the next thing. Do you have any kids?
Yeah.
You ever have somebody who doesn't have kids try to tell you how to be a parent?
Here's the real question.
Yeah.
Do they?
No. Well, most of them probably don't. But I'm just saying that like no matter how smart somebody is, every parent's had that experience where somebody who doesn't have kids is there telling them what they're doing. And it's not about them being smart or stupid or whatever. It's just they don't have the experience.
This is why your premise is totally bad faith, because your audience is a bunch of people who don't deal with the everyday struggles that you and I deal with. So you can talk. Hold on. You can talk to them. Listen, do you know how much I care about an illegal criminal alien immigrant when my daughter says, "Hey, Dad, I need $4,000 for club volleyball"? I'm like, I don't care about that. This is my issue that I have to deal with today. And when they have kids and they have to deal with paying for daycare, feeding those kids, providing a place for those kids to live, they're going to care a lot less about some guy in El Salvador getting due process when he's a criminal and he should be deported immediately.
It depends on what your lived experience is,
No,
though, right?
no.
Like when I was growing up, okay, there were family members of mine that were criminal illegal immigrants because half of my family comes from Cuba. But now the difference is my mom loves the illegal immigrants from Cuba. She doesn't like the ones from South America or from Mexico.
Cubans traditionally hate illegals.
Well, once they're here, they do.
Of
But
course, that's the way it's supposed to be.
I'm just saying, you can't say, you want to say Cubans hate illegals. They all wanted Elian Gonzalez to stay when he floated over.
He was legal.
No, he wasn't. They
Soon
caught him
as
in
you
they were
touch the
illegally
soil.
immigrating. Wait. They were immigrating illegally.
Okay. But did he touch the soil?
So do asylum seekers.
No. You're being disingenuous. There was a law where Cuban immigrants.
Yes, we had us, but
they
wet foot,
touched
dry
the
foot,
soil,
I
they're
understand.
legal. So let what's his name? Elian
Elian
Gonzalez?
Gonzalez.
Hey, let him stay. I want him to stay because that was the law of the land. So that's the difference.
But we're not talking about just what the no, we're not talking about just what the law is. I'm just saying that people can have
We're
different.
not talking about the laws.
We're not talking about just what the law is.
Oh, just with the laws.
No.
Well, that's what I live my life based on.
Well, we can change the laws, right?
You can, so go vote. Stop complaining.
We can do both. I have a First Amendment and the right to vote.
and I
But I'm just
support
saying,
that.
I'm just saying it's interesting to give so much credence to Cuban immigrants, but not
Love
to
'em.
people from Mexico or South America.
Don't love them as much.
Why?
Because the Cubans believe what I believe. And they
So do a
understand
lot of
what I
Mexican
understand.
immigrants and everything too.
And I love those Mexican legal citizens.
Sure,
But as far
yeah.
as the illegal immigrants, ship them back.
Sure. Okay, that's a
Very,
perspective.
this is a very simple thing to understand.
Well, it's not as simple. It's a complicated conversation.
It's
right?
really not.
If it was so simple, then Trump wouldn't have failed miserably in it for his first 4 years, and we wouldn't go these 4 years without him also failing miserably in it. By the end of
won-
these 4 years, Trump will not have any immigration legislation, number one, and he won't deport more than 1 million or 2 million people, number two. I guarantee you by the end of these 4 years.
That's totally fine. So why are you guys using that as a political talking point? If
Well, I'm not. You wanted to bring it to
what
legal
you're-
immigration, so that's what we're
What
talking
you're
about.
actually afraid of is that what's going to happen is the same thing that happened with Kamala Harris during the campaign. Trump came up with a good idea that gained a lot of traction when it came to getting votes, and Kamala Harris jumped on it. No tax on tips. You're afraid that the Democrats will adopt Trump's policies because they are the policies that resonate with voters. So you have to take the college kids, the people with no real responsibility yet. I'm not trying to devalue you guys' experience. I'm just telling you, have you ever looked at a freaking mortgage that was like $5,000? Have you ever? Most people have not at this stage
Yeah,
in
but
their
people
life.
aren't voting all the
And
time
that's
on
when you get 'em
wisdom. I
young.
saw Republicans celebrating the fact that they were going to have a tax deduction on the interest rate that you pay on